Hello and welcome back to Big Screen Boys podcast, the brand new podcast. Now, you guys may be wondering again, we're going to do this just in case you did not watch the live stream, formerly known as Have You Seen It podcast. We have officially rebranded. We have changed the podcast name. In the channel name is now Tremendous Studios. We'll be having other podcasts on this channel as well, inevitably, kind of encompassing all things book related, nerd related, movie news, all that kind of stuff. So, with that said, if you guys missed the live stream, you can go back and watch the live stream and all the things that we talked about there. But we are here today, Cash.
Yes, we explained a little bit about it.
We did.
But yeah, we're here today doing a little 2022 cleanup, Mason. There's a few movies that I did not get to see that I have to see before making our top
decision.
10. Yeah. Of course, the big top 10 that everyone looks forward to every year.
Of course, they love it.
Very popular.
We had so many comments. How dare you? You have not done a top 10 yet.
They won't do the Oscars until we do our top 10.
Exactly. And we were on the phone with Oscar himself. And they said, "Hey, look, we got a award show to do." But we noticed that formerly known as Have You Seen It podcast, now Big Screen Boys,
because they were in on the news.
They were in on it. We let them know a week early. Okay.
You have to know. You have to let the Hollywood Foreign Press know everything.
You have to,
of course.
And Hollywood Reporter, they wrote a couple articles on us. Whatever.
You may have seen it.
I don't know,
but yeah, of course. So we have to do. There's a couple films that I haven't seen yet that, of course, are on everyone's top 10.
Yeah.
That we have been behind, because some of the films that become on people's top 10 don't ever play here until you can stream it somewhere.
Yep.
But and like this one was even hard to find. But we are here to talk about this film. Had so much buzz. We were talking about this film very early on last year.
We are both very big Brendan Fraser fans.
Yeah,
and I like to emphasize that.
I love The Mummy, and I love George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle, one of the best films.
Bedazzled is good. He's got a lot.
Snubbed for a lot of awards.
That was a tough year for awards, but but for sure. But we're finally talking about it because everyone was talking about this, and they took them forever to release anything about this film. But his big comeback, 2022 was the year for comebacks.
And boy, I don't know if you meant to say big comeback, but this is a obese
because
comeback.
He's fat.
Yeah, because we are doing The Whale today.
No.
Yeah, and the title has multiple meanings. It's a very, very deep film.
Yeah, directed by Darren Aronofsky, maybe his most watchable film for sure. He does films that you do not want to watch twice. Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, don't want to watch that one.
Violent. But yeah, and of course, a lot of other ones. Right. Black Swan, The Wrestler, which is amazing. He's an amazing director.
Yes.
But yeah, this is based on a play, which is very obvious when you're watching the film because it mostly takes place
one set.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside this morbidly obese man's home.
Yeah, but like you said, stars our guy, lovable.
Love him.
This is the one guy in Hollywood you can be like, okay, you can look up to this guy.
You can look up to him, and you can, you want to give him a hug.
Oh, you want to give
There's
him a hug.
not a lot of people in Hollywood
adorable.
I would care to give a hug to.
I don't want to be in a room with a lot of people in Hollywood. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Especially alone.
But yeah. Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tells a story of a reclusive, morbidly obese English teacher as he attempts to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter.
Yeah.
That's, summing it up pretty easily. There's a lot more to unpack here.
There most certainly is.
For sure.
There are reasons why he abandoned his daughter too that we find out pretty early on in the film as well.
Yeah.
A lot of trauma in this, but Cash, one of the highlights of this film that for me was so like, wow, is it brought me into the atmosphere in a way a lot of films haven't. Like after the end of this film, man, it took me like 5 minutes to like recover.
Well, I love these movies based on plays because they're very intimate, the small space that they brings you in. And I love plays. I wish I was rich enough to be able to afford to go to one.
I know, right?
But that is for the upper echelon. And someday, my friend,
we will be there.
Someday
we'll be able to do a lot of plays. Maybe we'll turn this into a play review as well.
But right now, not a chance.
Nope, not a chance in hell.
But yeah, I love these type of movies that are obviously very dialogue heavy for sure. But yeah, of course, everyone's talking about it because it got the big 6-minute ovation when it premiered. And of course, every video of Brendan Fraser, that was caught on camera, of course, and it is adorable.
It is so
he is
adorable.
crying.
He's
Yeah, I know his suit's all wrinkled, like he just got
Yeah.
like probably flew coach
He
there.
probably did. Yeah. He's a big man too. Not fat, but big, tall.
Well, he's a big guy.
He's a bigger
He's
guy,
a big guy for sure. But he is very tall.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
very tall. But man, everyone's talking about it. Of course, gives a great performance, and of course, everyone's talking about it because he is very heavy in the film. But prosthetics, of course, great prosthetics.
Yeah.
But he's also very heavy as
and
well.
And it wasn't just him. I mean, let's talk about this entire cast. Sadie Sink knocked it out of the park. She did a phenomenal job in this.
From
Stranger Things. Yeah. And Hung Chao, she was awesome. She was awesome in this.
Definitely,
and so many gut-wrenching moments.
Definitely my favorite
well.
part was between her and Brendan Fraser, Liz and Charlie. Was my favorite dynamic for sure. Every relationship is so damn complicated in this movie. Every single one. And no one's a bad guy in this film. It's just they're very flawed. Like everyone is, but man.
Yeah, it definitely brings that human element to it, which makes for really good, Let
me tell you, I just saw this film. I just got out of the theater like a couple hours ago, and it was the theater was pretty, for how long this film has been out and how small it is, it's probably 50% full.
I went to the movie parlor and mine was packed.
Yeah, it was a small theater. It was a small theater for sure, but it was all like 40 to 50-year-old moms. Yeah. And not a dry eye in the house the whole time. You're just hearing sniffles. You're hearing the ruffling of the Kleenex packet.
Yeah.
Oh, these women, they were just sobbing.
Cash, full transparency. Moms I had a tear come down at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
it was good. Man. I got super emotional.
Now I got a lot more emotional at everything all at once for sure. There were some scenes, but I got a little misty eyed for sure.
Yeah,
there's some scenes that I almost wanted to go on a little bit longer to really kind of sink me in, because the scene that they were really showing off, like I did one good thing, that's always a scene in any time, but that's like a 5-second scene. There's not more after that, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it turns very fast after that to him and his ex-wife kind of arguing again, and it goes back and forth. But I also love that dialogue, and I love that dynamic because you watch the progression of that whole scene. They're laughing, they're together, and then you see the pain again and the suffering, and then it's like the separating, and they're fighting and bickering, and they're like, oh, well, this brings us back, doesn't it? And then it's back to that loving embrace where she's filling his heart. So it was like a human experience where it's like at times these two really don't like each other and there's a lot of pain there. But at the same time, they still do in some weird way also still care about each other.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was just a
I love
performances.
I love the whole dynamic of the ex-wife for sure, and her not being a bad person at all. Her just trying to do the best that she can. But
imagine how hard that is too. Talking about the human element of having your husband, who you have a child with, leave you, and then have to tell everyone that he left you for a man, and that.
Well, the worst part, that wouldn't be the worst part. The worst part would be saying, "Hey, he abandoned me," and this
of course, right?
But him be going out and being with a man. I mean, but him abandoning the family to be a man, that's the fucking worst part, man. Because that'd be just as bad tough as going, "Hey, he left me for a lady too." Yeah. But it'd be like. And the worst, it was tougher because it was his student,
but I mean more from the perspective of her, because that was something that she hit upon in the film was like, it was bad enough that you left me, but then out of her perspective, she said that you left me for a man.
Yeah.
So for her perspective, it was even harder for her to get past
and you gotta
as the character.
This is Idaho, 2016.
Of course, you have to look at the settings.
Idaho is tough. Idaho should not be in the north. It was sunken down to the south for sure. Because
it was also a student too.
Yeah, I mean, not like he was a high school teacher.
Obviously not.
Which at first I was thinking they were almost playing into that, but then he explains.
He's a college professor.
I'm like, this could have been because then you would have had a bad guy in the film, and it's not that type of film.
Mm-hmm.
But I compare it a lot to, if you ever seen Nicolas Cage's film Leaving Las Vegas. It's basically about, he's a screenwriter and he goes to Las Vegas to drink himself to death.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, this is exactly what Charlie was doing, is he was killing himself just in a different way, different addiction. That's all it was he was committing suicide. And everyone knew that. No one ever brings it up, but it's what I wanted to scream at the screen was, you're just killing yourself, And it's just the weird society we lived in where it's okay to kill yourself in that way, but to
Mhm.
put a gun to your head and shoot, it's a big no. I mean, no
Right.
people hate you for that. But
Well, one thing this film captured so well is the idea of like some people in their addictions, like food is a real addiction for people, and not for all people, but for some
everything
people,
to be that heavy,
it's a true addiction.
you're working to keep that much weight on.
Mhm.
It's like bodybuilders. Bodybuilders that are big have to eat constantly. They work
Right.
out and they eat because they to keep that much weight on. You have to keep. You got to go fucking 15,000 calories a day.
Well, and that's what it showed so well was the stress eating. So
Yeah.
anytime he was stressed out, anytime he was worried
Oh,
about his
yeah.
daughter or anything, you would see him open up the drawers. And I love those small moments. And Fraser did a wonderful job kind of giving you those emotional moments in like his mental thought process of like grabbing the candy bar, slamming it in, and then opening it back up
And
because
then
he's
not even
stressed,
really wanting to eat it.
not wanting to eat
Not
it.
hungry, obviously.
No, in the one giant
But just
binge.
coping.
Oh my God, the binge
Oh,
that
that
he
was
went on.
bad.
I was squirming in
gotta
my
give it to
seat.
him
It was
because
uncomfortable.
For food scenes in films, they have a spit bucket.
Mhm.
Right? You eat a lot, but he is eating these things. You can tell he's swallowing these
There's
things.
no way he's not eating them.
And you got to do like minimum, you're doing like 15, 20 takes.
Oh yeah.
And not even this, but this is Darrenovsky's first digital film, so you can just keep rolling inside film, baby.
Mhm.
And I've seen other stories of people eating food on set and being like, I don't want to do the spit bucket thing. There's no way I'll be okay.
And by take
Getting
8,
violently ill
Mhm.
because you have to do the same thing over and over again. You got to
Yep.
swallow it and everything.
and continuity too,
But
so
when
you have to
he
eat it
was
the same
putting
way.
down those Milky Ways, bro,
Bro, that
they
was
must have been
wild.
like, he must have said like, I could do 3 takes of this, like at
Mm-hmm.
max, because he is just engulfing. He's like nothing.
No, it's literally like the capacity of a
He's
candy
not
bar.
chewing. Oh.
And that's what's so crazy with like a 600-pound individual compared to a normal person is you have one candy bar and it takes you a while to eat that one candy bar. But in his mentality, it's like every single candy bar that's like 60 grams of sugar is one bite. One bite.
Oh yeah.
One bite. So he's eating 4 or
he's going
5
through
of these
bags.
things.
He's
Yeah.
going through bags. Yeah.
And it's just crazy because then you really get the perspective of like, oh my God, this is a severe addiction this guy is having to like sugar and food in general. And that's
it's just like someone hitting the bottle or someone hitting the pipe or something like that. Because something tragic happened, which always spawns, something like that.
Oh, it triggers them.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a trigger most of the time. There's always a trigger that spirals you down. And it would just be like drinking himself too. And I saw some people were saying it's like fat shaming and stuff. I don't think it is. It's a realistic portrait of someone that's in that stage of their lives. And it'd be the same exact thing as someone drinking themselves to death or something like that. It's no different. It's just showing someone with, obviously a bad mental illness that's going through, that needs help and never got the help. Right. This is what happens when you don't get help.
Well, and I don't really particularly like the whole fat shaming ideology because like when we have family members and stuff who have problems with drugs or stuff, you have to confront them. You have to tell them and be honest with them. So in this same capacity, you have to be honest with Charlie. You have to be.
You got to get him help.
We got to get you help.
You don't just look down.
Well, that's what Liz. That's what Liz tries to do throughout this whole film. You got to go to the hospital. You have congestive heart failure.
Well, to find out he has money too.
Oh my goodness, that he was saving for his daughter the entire time.
He's got 120 grand, which would easily. America, it's going to put a big chunk out of that.
Right.
Because all the work he's going to have done. He's going to have heart surgery. He honestly is probably right. A lot of that money will be gone.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah,
but 100%. Also, you to spend maybe another 30, 40 years with your daughter, too. So it's a crazy movie. It's a lot. And I wish I even had more time to digest it because coming out of it was a lot for sure. But it's a great performance and it's well written. I'm not going to say it's the best movie of the year. It has one of the best performances in it. But I don't think it's the best movie of the year.
I'll be hyperbolic. I don't care. I think it was the best performance of the year that I've seen from a single actor and coming back.
Well, I think it's going to be very, very tough between choosing this and Ki Kwan from Everywhere, Everything All at Once for best. It's going to be
that's a
good
point.
Movie is. I'm against The Whale's a good movie, but Everything Everywhere All at Once is a fucking great movie. Mm-hmm. It's a once
from start to finish.
It's a once in a
and
decade
very unique
type of film. So that's the thing you got to do is just, are you judging it purely on performance or the performance of elevating the movie as well?
I think there are a few qualifiers, I guess, for me. And one of the things that I love to do when I go into a movie is be fully immersed and feel like I'm there. And like, whether I feel uncomfortable or happy, I want to be in the setting. I want to be in the mood. And that's one thing that they were able to do very well in The Whale for me. and maybe this is because I have personal experience with obviously dealing with weight issues. I have family members who have died because they were diabetics and on dialysis and the legs getting cut off and amputated because they were so obese.
Who doesn't, brother? We're in America.
No, I know. But again, like that resonated with me
Yeah.
a lot. And I saw that. And like I have family members who deal with severe obesity as well. So like for me, this just resonated in a different way, I guess, than maybe other people. So it was more, I don't know. It was more special, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed being in that set. Oh, I didn't enjoy it. It was actually very stressful, but I enjoyed the journey though.
I definitely enjoyed how realistic they portrayed just his lifestyle, kind of how he eats and everything that he does, and the kind of food he bought as well and stuff. It was cheap, generic food. You know, it wasn't for flavor or anything like that.
You could tell.
It was sad because at one point they even talk about how he used to be a cook. I mean, he used to like to cook. But and they also talk about how he always was kind of heavy, and it's a slippery slope when you're kind of heavy always.
It is.
So it's easy, but it's just
when you can
and
always
just how
tell
everyone reacts to him too. It's fucking brutal.
Oh,
It doesn't
the
make you
pizza
want.
guy at the end.
And then we'll remember his class when he went live, and some people were taking videos. People were holding back laughter. That's a tough thing is when you get that bad, you don't want help.
No.
It becomes so much harder
when you're isolated.
And well, I mean, just going out and getting help, you don't want to go to the hospital or anything. People are going to stare at you. And no matter what, people are going to stare at you. Like,
for sure when you're that big.
No matter what. So it's an even tougher thing to get help for. And everything becomes so much harder when you let yourself go that big. Yeah. I mean, the smallest things become impossible. Picking up a key off the ground or
and I love how the film showed that. I love those little things because those are things like if you've never dealt with that, which you or I or no one here
we definitely shouldn't be
shaming
anyone. We should be offering
trying
help
to
and understanding. Yeah, exactly. Because it's a horrible thing. But man, he does a great job. He obviously did his research into it, and obviously he's wearing very heavy prosthetics. Which he said did weigh on him. I mean,
he was wearing prosthetics, but there was CGI done too for some of those.
Yeah,
for some of that,
just probably touch-ups, a lot of touch-ups and things like that. That's pretty much how they did it. Because CGI, I mean, prosthetic fat suits, you can only go so far. You get the clumps. You get and
very frumpy, it doesn't look right.
And you could tell where the face meets like the cheeks sometimes. But this was you could tell they probably digitally altered the face. To look smoother, obviously, but it was prosthetic when he was in a shower. That was prosthetic, and it looked amazing. And I'm sure even with modern Hollywood technology, those suits are fucking heavy, man.
Oh, hell yeah, they are. Yeah, those suits are heavy. I guarantee it. Let's talk about this because I really want to dive in a little bit to the actual relationship aspects between Charlie and Liz, and then Charlie and Ellie too, his daughter. Because there were Ellie is a very scarred child just because obviously dealing with a mom that she doesn't really understand her mom and her dad.
Her dad left her. And the worst part is her dad left her when she was like 11.
8.
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Which is
very
crucial time. Any time as a kid is crucial.
But abandoned me when I'm 6 months.
Yeah.
And I never even fucking know you because he had a full relationship with her.
Brought her out to the beach. They were together like they were a family.
He was a great dad. Yeah.
And then just
obviously it was never great between his wife because he's gay.
Yeah.
It's
kind of hard to stay with someone, if
of course, but gay, and that was another thing that made his character so conflicted, which is like he left, but you understand why he left. He was leading a lie most of his life, so it was complicated. But yeah, all the relationships is something I've kind of figured out after watching was like, it was like you do something for love, but they were all hurting each other. That's how complicated it was. Was Liz, which was the caretaker. She was enabling him.
But
she loved him.
Every scene, you could tell she struggled with that.
But she was enabling him.
100%.
She brought him a lot of food, and she knew he was killing himself, and she was okay with it. And then
one scene in particular is the chicken scene where he goes, "Liz, please."
Yeah.
And she just gets up. She goes and grabs the bucket and hands it to him.
Well, the sub scene's bad though too. Oh my god,
that's another scene. Full bucket of chicken. Yeah. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And she's his nurse, right? She's supposed to be helping him out, but every time they met, though, she was like, "I'm taking you to the hospital every single time."
And we also
turned it down.
We have to talk about the dynamic too. Is that Charlie was dating her brother.
Yeah,
So
you don't find out
you don't
until
find out
later.
until later on in that film.
And they were in some fucked up Idaho church that, of course, his brother came out gay. They said, not for us, which I moved away from Idaho.
Yeah, just move. Go to like LA or something like that. So we're a little more
Washington,
accepting.
Oregon.
Yeah, Washington, Oregon. There
you're
are
very
a lot
close.
of places.
You're very close, but it's their homes, of course. But and he loved his family. That was another bad thing about which was so weird because his daughter was named Ellie, and then his boyfriend was named Alan Grant. It's both Jurassic Park nods.
Yeah, it definitely was. I know Alan Grant. I noticed that right away. I was like,
that can't be. Yeah, that has to be intentional. Which is like, was he watching? Was Darren Aronofsky? I guess it was the playwright who wrote it. Was he watching Jurassic Park?
He was like, I'm inspired by this. I think I'm going to go Alan
These
Grant.
films are so similar. But that relationship was complicated. His relationship between his daughter,
even more complicated.
Ellie, I figured this out kind of after I left, was like the whole thing with the Facebook thing was, remember, they meet this guy, which was not my favorite character. This guy he's a missionary. He tries to convert everyone the whole time. But she meets him and she kind of helps him out in a way that you'd say she either fucked him over and it was just kind of helped him out in the long run, or that's her way because she's so fucked up. Yeah. But she pretty much takes pictures of this missionary smoking weed and she sends it to his church
and his
family. And it was after a moment she was very upset. Mm-hmm. But this turns out being like they see that and they find him finally and they reach out to him and they're like, we don't care about the weed because he stole money. They're like, we don't care about the money. You can come back. I think she posted that picture on her Facebook. Remember, she said there'll be a grease fire in hell.
Yeah. When he dies.
I think it's because she knew he would see it and maybe that would motivate him because maybe he'd feel so bad. And that was her way of helping anyone. Yeah. Was just to fuck with him so bad. That was the only way that she knew how to feel love, which is incredibly fucked up.
It's incredibly sad too. Yeah. It's incredibly sad.
But she knew that he was going on her Facebook, and she knew that he would see that. So I think he did that as some way, like, this is the only way that will motivate him, if I embarrass him so bad. Because I can't tell you I love him.
Yeah, no,
because and she's angry. She's so mad about it.
So mad at him. She's got so much resentment and hate over the course of the last decade of her life,
which gives so much more reasoning to that character. I think of just being kind of this really heartless, almost a sociopath. Yeah, but like just she was just so broken that was the only way that she knew how.
And I love the 8th grade essay too with Moby Dick and kind of how that whole thing played out. Because remember early on in the film in Act 1. He was having heart problems, and the minister guy walked in, and he was like, "Why am I reading this? Why am I reading?" And I'm thinking, "Why is he reading this?"
I thought I
thought it was his like boyfriend's last thing that he wrote or something like that.
Which I'm like, it's not that good of an essay.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like,
this sounds.
Yeah, I was like, this is really not good because we feel bad about the whale and stuff like that. Yeah, I was like, what is going on? This is very like rudimentary, like not very good essay. So I was confused.
Then you find out that every time he thinks he's dying, another so fucked up thing is he reads this out loud, or if someone's around, they'll read, because that's the last thing he wants to do, is his daughter's 8th grade essay about the whale, which is Moby Dick's whale, which is his obsession with killing that whale and thinking that if he does this one thing, then all rights will be wronged, which is what Brendan Fraser is doing. He thinks if I die and I leave $120,000 to a 17-year-old, which is a horrible,
not typically a good idea.
It's a bad idea.
Really
You're going to burn through that money in 6 months. He thinks if he does this, which exactly is the relationship thing, is she does all those fucked up things to help people. Liz does something fucked up to help, and he's doing something extremely fucked up to help her. But they're all doing the wrong thing. They're all doing what they think is best, but they're not doing the right thing, which is it's hard to do the right things most of the time.
Sadie Singh too, that performance that she gave, obviously there was a wide range of emotions that she had to display throughout the course of the film, but then the last scene was so gut-wrenching and that was such a wide range. She really knocked that out of the park.
She did good. I like that. I did not like the scene between her and the missionary guy. I didn't like that. The way she was acting, I thought it was very annoying. It
was a little weird.
It was very strange, and I just didn't really get the dynamic there, where it's like she was just acting very annoying. If I was that guy, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here because
I would have gotten
taking
out
my
right
picture
away.
and like just
And then
talking over him,
joking around about I don't want to say the word, but accusing me of this type of thing or that thing. And it's like, whoa,
it's
okay.
like the weird girl at high school everyone knows it's just fucking nuts. I mean, like he's all constantly getting kicked out. It's like, yeah. So I didn't like that scene, but she kind of brings it back around for me in that last scene. When he finally walks to her, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
you know, that's powerful too.
You know what was maybe the most heartbreaking scene for me though? The pizza guy. When that pizza guy was like the last straw. When he was like the one humanity. It's like, hey Charlie. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like so weird to me. He's like, thanks, I'm fine. Yeah.
Well, and then he finally sees him and he looks at him like he's a monster. He's like,
yeah. There's pizzas in Idaho.
Like, come on, dude.
He's probably sees a
Have you never seen an obese person before? Like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Oh my!
Yeah,
just shun him. Yeah,
he acts like he's got a second head on his body.
Yeah, he just sprinted down the stairs.
Yeah, I know. Gets his car. I can't deliver pizza anymore.
And it was just like one bad thing after another.
That's when he goes
Charlie.
on the bench.
The bench, yeah. 2 full pizzas at a time.
Pizza.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some crazy stuff though.
And it got so bad where he wasn't even making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He got Skittles, chips, whatever it was, jelly, and just dumped it all in a giant
he
bread.
Did 2 pizzas, which that's a move for sure.
That is a move.
That's a move.
That's a power move.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ranch on the pizza.
Oh, and not just a little ranch.
He's eating all this shit too. Just sitting under fucking stage lights too.
Mm-hmm.
You know that none of that food is fresh.
No. It made me so uncomfortable watching that because then that is something I thought about too. Exactly. I was like, he is actually eating this food as an actor. How many times did they do this? I guarantee you.
It helps for the role though.
It does.
Because if you're like right on the edge of throwing up constantly, that's gotta be it, you know. That's gotta be the normal feeling, right?
Oh yeah. Especially when you're playing a role to that capacity too. Yeah. It is method, but I think warranted one where it's not over the top or crazy.
It's just like, you know, you wouldn't allow an actor to drink on set if they're playing an alcoholic. Right. Do you allow Brendan Fraser to
eat himself to death? Yeah, exactly.
This has got to be someone to be like, should we be doing this?
But what I can tell you is I know they do, of course, they do lunches on set. Guarantee he didn't have any lunches most days on set. He's like, I am good. He probably did like a 24-hour fast every day.
Oh, for sure.
I would. You would have to eating that capacity of food every day on set.
Yeah, it's like every scene he's eating. There's a few bad
but there's
scenes.
a lot of scenes.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, that last scene was great too when he ascends up, you know, into this final moments or whatever, and he goes back to the beach too. And I like that they never showed him skinny either. I like, for some reason, I like that a lot. I thought for sure we'd get a flashback, but it adds to that play feeling. You know, you couldn't do that in a play. You couldn't do a flashback.
Get this guy out of a fat suit in like 2 seconds. So that ain't happening. He's got to stay in that the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I like that. I like the ending a lot.
I love the ending.
Yeah, the ending was really good. It
is
pretty long. It's almost 2 hours. But
yeah, it is. But I love the fact that the first time, you know, Ellie shows up, the first time they interact in like 10 years, and she is about to leave and she goes, get up.
Yeah.
No, without the walker. Get up and walk to me.
I knew there's no chance.
And he can't, and of course he couldn't do it. So I loved at the end, you know, it kind of came full circle and like he showed her that he could do it and he would do it, you know, in kind of his last final moments before, you know, he ascends.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful at the end of the film. And yeah, this one will stick with me for a while and one that I will definitely rewatch. I know Ken wants to go see it, so I'm probably going to go watch this with him.
Yeah. And maybe Darren Aronofsky's most rewatchable film. I mean, very sad. I don't think I was hesitant to even go and see it because I knew it was going to be a lot going through it, but you go through it, you know, and you don't feel devastated after, you know, you still feel that things are almost good, you know. I mean, at least he went out on his own terms and he went out on a high note, you know, the highest note that he's probably had in 10 years.
It is sad. Like when you look at a lot of like kids and stuff and some of them like grow up with, you know, just like real terrible parents who just aren't there. And I think like the reason why it was traumatic for me as well is just like thinking about Ellie and like what she had to go through and obviously watching her father essentially die in front of her that day. You know, reading the poem to him for the last
watching him kill himself for the last week too. And I love the whole timestamp too. I like that because it gave a finality that this is coming to an end, you know, Monday. Because they said, I mean, they laid it out very clearly. He'll be dead by the weekend. Yeah, because But yeah, I don't know. It's
which is the best way to write. Is you want to have that deadline for anything that you're trying to write, because otherwise it can just go on and on and on and drag out,
well,
so
yeah, it's a
it is
great,
good.
it's like I said, it's very play like for sure to go just day by day. But yeah, great for Brendan Fraser. He'll definitely get a nom. Definitely. I don't know if he'll go because if you don't know the whole Brendan Fraser story, is he was molested or sexually assaulted by the president of the Hollywood Foreign Press, and they say a lot of things happened to him. He got a divorce as well. I think he was in like a car crash or something, but I think he does come out and say that that was a big reason that he was blacklisted for so long.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if he's, I mean, if he'll be nominated. I don't know if he'll even go if he is nominated.
I will say, out of
he
all the
should
performances,
it'd be very powerful, I think. But I completely understand him
for
not
sure.
wanting to go.
Yeah, and that's his personal choice.
And that's even a stronger statement for sure if he wins and he's not even there because of that. So either way, he'll get nominated. I definitely think he'll get nominated. There's no way.
I think it'd be a travesty if he didn't. It's one of the best performances I've seen this year.
I think it'll be up to him though, and Kei Kwan from Everything All at Once.
I think she'll get a nod, or I think Hong Chao, I believe is how you pronounce her name.
Yeah,
she might get a nom for supporting
actress. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, very much
for sure.
So,
she does a great job.
She dealt with a lot of stuff in this film too.
Yeah,
so.
There's a lot of good performances this year.
There are.
It's going to be
it's going to be fun, actually. Yeah, I might actually tune into the Oscars this year.
Yeah, and if the Oscars, I totally see it going either way, but it'd be a big story to give either one of those guys an Oscar because they came from nowhere. It's not like it's not like Leo, where he's done 6 great films the last 6 years. These guys came out of fucking no. And it's a great story too, because Darren Aronofsky, he said only envisioned Brendan Fraser in this role. So to pull him up like out of obscurity again is
crazy.
And to nail it too.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gotten a better person.
No.
And now Brendan Fraser is going to be in a new Martin Scorsese film coming out.
I'm very excited for that. Is he in the Wildflower film?
It's not called Wildflower, but it's
Moonflower. What is it called? The new Scorsese film.
Yes, it is. It's Flowers of the. I can't remember.
I know, I can't remember either.
But yeah, he is. I think he's the lead in it.
Oh, he's the lead in that? In the new one?
I think so, yeah.
No way. Wow, what a resurgence. What a comeback for him. That's actually incredible.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah,
yeah, which is based on a book. Yeah, he's in that too. Yeah, what a fucking year. It could not have happened to a better guy.
Not a better person. I know.
For
and
sure.
It just makes me happy. And I actually even followed, like, on Instagram, I followed like a Brendan Fraser fan account. And so like I get all the updates on Brendan.
But not even, he doesn't have any social media, does he?
No. It's a fan page.
Yeah, no, but I was asking.
But it's always just like updates with everything. And I'm just like, yeah, 100% I'm going to follow this. So I'm always.
Well, he has a very popular subreddit also.
Oh, he does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That people are on. And I think he's even been on and like thanked them too. So great. I liked it a lot.
So did I.
See where it's at in my top 10.
Yeah.
We'll see where it's at on mine. I'll tease it there, but it's going to be on my top 10.
For sure. Unquestionably for me as well. All right, everyone. That is our review for The Whale. If you guys liked what you've seen here, please be sure to smash the like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notifications. We drop videos here every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye. The bad thing is I can't tell how long we're